Okay, so everyone's been talking about these AirPods Max, right? Like Apple's first over-ear headphones. Big move for them. And we're going to deep dive into all the details, see if they're actually worth that, like, whopping $550 price tag. We've got Marquise Brownlee's take on them, a whole bunch of other notes. So let's jump in.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's really interesting right off the bat is how Apple is really going for this like premium feel with these. You can tell just from the materials they've used, like stainless steel, aluminum, even like the feel of the hinges, the adjustments. It's all very deliberate.
Yeah, Brownlee was saying, like, he was super impressed with just how solid they felt. Like, no creaks, no flimsy parts. He even mentioned, like, that really satisfying click when you adjust the size, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that premium build, I think it kind of comes with a bit of a weight penalty.
Yeah.
They are definitely heavier than a lot of other headphones out there. So, it's something to keep in mind if you're going to be wearing these for like hours on end.
Yeah. Comfort is a big deal, especially with over-ear headphones. I mean, Apple tried to address that with this, like, new mesh headband, right?
Yeah.
So as to distribute the weight more evenly.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart design.
Yeah.
And Brownlee said it feels super soft, but the question is like how durable is that mesh going to be in the long run?
Right. Only time will tell on that one, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do love that they made the ear cuts replaceable. That's great for making them last longer. Plus, you can, like, mix and match colors.
Yeah, true. Apple will gladly sell you those replacements though, probably at a premium. But it's cool that it's an option.
Yeah, I guess.
Mhm.
But one thing I was surprised about, no water resistance. Seems kind of strange to leave that out on headphones this expensive.
Yeah, especially when you think about how many people use headphones for working out or just like out and about. Makes you wonder how durable they'll really be in like, less than ideal conditions.
All right, let's move on from, like, the build itself. Let's talk controls.
Yeah.
Because these are interesting. They've gone with a digital crown, just like the Apple Watch. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
It's definitely a bold move, but I kind of like it. It's a pretty clever way to control the volume without having to mess with like touch controls, which can be finicky. Plus, they added a dedicated noise cancellation button, so you can easily switch between like noise cancellation and transparency mode.
Yeah, it's all about keeping it simple and functional.
Uh-huh.
And apparently Brownlee actually prefers this setup.
Really interesting.
Yeah, he said those touch controls can be more trouble than they're worth sometimes.
Well, speaking of design choices, the case for these has been causing quite a stir online.
Oh, yeah, the case is something else.
Yeah.
It's like this soft pouch thing with a magnetic closure.
Yeah.
Definitely sparked a lot of opinions, that's for sure.
It's a unique design, for sure. But people are wondering about how practical it really is. Like, it doesn't seem to offer much protection for such expensive headphones.
And people have been comparing it to everything, like a bra or a purse.
Mm.
It is kind of out there, even for Apple.
Right. I mean, a more traditional hard case would have made more sense to me.
Well, there is a reason for this unusual design. Putting the headphones in the case is what triggers this, like, ultra-low power state. Helps save battery life.
Oh, that is pretty clever. But it does make you wonder what happens if you want to use a different case. Like, does the battery just drain normally then? We'll need more info from Apple on that one.
Okay, so now let's talk about the brains of the operation, the smart features. This is where those dual H1 chips really come into play. Things like seamless pairing with Apple devices,
Yeah.
audio sharing, all that.
Yeah, those H1 chips are doing a lot behind the scenes. They allow for crazy fast pairing, seamless switching between devices, features like spatial audio, creating that more immersive listening experience.
And then there's like 9 microphones on these things.
9.
Yeah, working together for that noise cancellation and transparency mode.
Makes sense. Brownlee said the noise cancellation is right up there with the AirPods Pro.
Oh, wow. So they're not messing around with that. Okay, so it sounds like they've really nailed a lot of those key features. But the big question still remains. Are all those bells and whistles, the premium materials, the smart features, are they worth that $550 price tag?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Especially when you consider that you can get some pretty fantastic noise-canceling headphones from like Sony for significantly less.
Yeah, those Sony headphones are always getting praised for being lighter, having longer battery life. Plus, they actually fold up, which is great for travel. And they come with a normal hard case for protection.
It really comes down to what matters most to you, I think. Are you willing to pay a premium for that seamless Apple integration, that prestige of the Apple brand?
Or are you more about getting the best value for your money,
Uh,
even if it means going with a different brand? These are the questions we'll be exploring even more in our next segment as we really dig into the audio quality, all the features, and see how these AirPods Max stack up against the competition.
Welcome back. So we've talked about the design, the build those interesting controls, and that case.
Yeah, the case. But now we got to talk about what really matters. The sound quality. At the end of the day, these are headphones. So how do they actually sound?
Right. Well, Brownlee said he was impressed. He said the sound was well-balanced, detailed. But the real question is, does the audio quality match that $550 price tag?
It's all about value for your money,
Yeah.
right? And tech is always changing. Maybe we're hitting a point where spending more doesn't actually get you a much better listening experience.
That's a good point. Are we reaching the limits of what wireless audio can do? Even if the AirPods Max sound amazing, are they that much better than some cheaper options?
It's like diminishing returns, right? You spend more, but the improvements are smaller. And you mentioned earlier that Brownlee thought these might be aimed at a different kind of buyer.
Yeah, he compared them to those super high-end audiophile headphones, the ones that cost thousands of dollars. Maybe Apple is trying to offer a taste of that premium audio, but in a more like everyday package.
So maybe these are for the Apple user who wants better sound, but isn't ready to go full audiophile.
Exactly. It could be like a stepping stone. But we'll need to wait for those in-depth reviews to see how they really compare.
Okay, well, let's talk more about those smart features.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on the pairing and audio sharing.
Mm-hmm.
What else stands out? What are those H1 chips doing?
Well, one of the coolest features is the spatial audio. It creates this three-dimensional sound experience, like surround sound in your headphones.
I've heard about that. Sounds amazing for movies and gaming.
It really does. And then there's that automatic ear detection.
Yeah.
Pauses your music when you take them off, starts again when you put them back on. Small thing, really convenient.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, of course, Siri. You can just say, hey, Siri.
Super handy for controlling music calls, reminders, directions, all without touching your phone.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, but what about the downsides? The weight, for example.
Yeah, brands did say they felt a bit heavy, especially after wearing them for a while. Could be a deal breaker for some people.
And that lack of water resistance is still a head-scratcher.
$550 and no water resistance. You'd think they'd include that, especially for workouts and stuff.
And then there's that case, which we've already discussed. Low power mode is cool, but the lack of protection and the weird design are definitely negatives for some.
Yeah, especially if you travel a lot and they don't fold up like some other headphones.
True, the Sonys fold up nice and small.
So there are trade-offs to think about. It's not just about the tech and features, it's about how practical they are, how comfortable they are.
Okay, so before we wrap up this segment, let's recap.
We've looked at the audio quality. Sounds promising, but we need more in-depth reviews. We've talked about those smart features, powered by those H1 chips.
And we've also been honest about the downsides. The weight, the lack of water resistance the case.
The big question remains, are they worth it? Is all that premium stuff and Apple integration enough to justify the price? We'll try to answer that in our final segment. We'll compare the AirPods Max to the competition and talk about who they're really for.
So we've really gone in depth on these AirPods Max, from the materials to the tech to that case.
Yeah, that case. But the question everyone's wondering, is it worth the money?
Especially when you think about it, you could get those noise-canceling Sonys for way less.
Right. Couple $100 less?
And those have a lot going for them. They're lighter, the battery lasts longer, they even fold up, plus a normal case.
Yeah, but I think Apple's going for a different kind of customer with these.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about Apple's whole strategy. It's all about that ecosystem, everything working together perfectly.
Right. So maybe these are for the hardcore Apple fan, the person who wants everything to just work seamlessly.
Exactly. If you're all in on the iPhone and you want that instant pairing, switching between devices easily, and you like the whole Apple look and feel, then these might be perfect.
But if you're more budget-minded, or you don't care as much about being in the Apple world, then there are definitely other headphones out there.
For sure. And that brings up a good point for anyone buying tech. Figure out what you actually need. What's important to you? Yeah.
Is it noise cancellation?
Yeah.
Portability? Audio quality?
Yeah.
Or that Apple integration?
You got to know what you're looking for before dropping $550 on any headphones.
Exactly. Read reviews. Watch videos. Maybe even try some out in a store if you can.
Definitely worth it.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive on the AirPods Max.
We covered a lot of ground as own features that case.
Hopefully we've given you enough info to start forming your own opinion.
Are they right for you? Maybe wait for those full reviews to come out. More experts will weigh in on the sound, the comfort, all that.
And in the meantime, we'd love to hear what you think.
Head over to our social media. Let us know your first impressions.
Are you tempted? Skeptical?
And tell us what you think of that case. We're still trying to figure it out ourselves.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.